I'm Clare, and this is my mate Anna. 10 years ago, Anna and I drove a Ford Fiesta 10,000 kilometres from the UK to West Africa. We'd bought it off eBay for less than £250. We had no service history and almost no mechanical know-how. The West Africa we saw is a different one now, and today's politics would make this trip a challenge to repeat. Our breakdowns were outnumbered only by adventures, and we got way more mileage from our car than we'd ever hoped for. 10 years later, this is our story. In our last episode, we'd just crossed into Benin from Niger and were on our way to Natitingou to meet up with Lena again.
Nice.
Pretty bad bridge, huh?
Pretty bad bridge.
We're gonna have to go quite slowly over it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could use the other bridge.
Yeah, we could use the other bridge, the one next to it.
Yeah.
Oh no! It's African.
Our earlier elation at just how much better the infrastructure was getting as we headed away from Niger was now being approached with a little more caution. But despite the cynicism, we were still having a pretty cruisy time of things overall.
We got pineapples.
Free pineapple.
Free pineapples.
Free dinner, free breakfast, free pineapple.
Everything's free.
We'd been treated to all kinds of exceptional hospitality on the way from Niger to Benin, and our new smuggler friend Franklin had not only insisted on buying us dinner and breakfast, but had also sent us off with snacks for the road. Things were going so cruisy that the longer we spent on the tar, the less we remembered the pitfalls of going off it again.
Oh, I wish I wasn't filming that. I had to turn it off. No, not really.
Quite funny.
We'd just had our car stopped in the street by some dancing guys who wanted us to party with them.
I think he was inviting us to his festival.
I think so.
He was like, this is a festival here. It was the other dude that tried to stop the car by being at the front. And I was like, oh my god, it's student protest number 2.
Despite their enthusiasm, we declined in favour of getting to Natitingou faster, but would soon realise our trip planning was more aspirational than it was practical.
This road is amazing.
We'd just gone off tar without a proper map to guide us.
There I was the other day thinking, I'm sorry Granny, we really shouldn't take you off the tarmac again. And I was looking at the map thinking this looked much more fun.
At some point in Niger, we'd used Google Maps online to plot a route to Natitingou through Pendjari National Park.
The problem is the fucking rocks, isn't it?
The problem is the fucking rocks. We do have a spare, however. 8 spare.
We'd thought the route was the same road we could see drawn across a rough map of the park in our guidebook. We didn't yet know that we were wrong.
We're on our way to Keremo, and this might be it. Actually, we might be here.
I mean, that's why the road's so shit, because we're near a town.
Yeah, the roads are shit near towns. This looks really built up.
So how do we get to the next place? What's the next place? Somewhere south-ish.
Well, we're basically in the national park, Kwaba. Soroko, village to Soroko. We're not there. This is Soroko.
What is Sirocco?
Fuck no, it's not on any little map that we have.
Why is that? Because we chose the fun way.
Bless these kids. Alright.
Although Sirocco was not on our tiny paper map, Google today tells us we were here. We'd ignored the obvious tar road to Natitingou after driving in from Niger, so we could take a longer shortcut on dirt tracks pointed out to us by Google. What we didn't know is that we'd already missed the logical turn-off in Banikwara, since our paper map mistook it for a dead end. We were now driving back towards Burkina Faso, looking for a track to take us through Pendjari National Park to Natitingou. We didn't know Google had never heard of the tracks we were about to drive down, and that a way out to Pendjari from here didn't really exist either.
Here we go.
Did I really decide to do this to Granny? I must be so confused. What are these two white bitches in a red two-wheel drive hatchback doing, driving through a place that no one visits, even in their four-wheel drives? Because it's out of the way.
Oh, there's pigs. Nom, 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 nom.
How is this a road? Oh my god.
It is not a road, it's piglets though.
It's on the map!
It is not on the map.
I've learnt this so many... No, it's not on the map!
It is not. It's not. Cool runnings, dude. We're out of town.
And from here, not even Google really knows where we ended up next.
This road is evil, because it is no road really.
It's a 4-wheel drive.
It is her, yeah.
And we have Granny.
Granny's amazing, but fuck.
We'd been hitting long stretches of road where the middle manaki was so high that we'd been driving with 2 wheels up on it to avoid beaching the granny.
This is what we call planning the route ahead.
As about to be shown in this brief example.
Where we get out of the car to have a look at the amazing track we're going to drive down.
Drive up the side there, actually. There.
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay.
Granny be alright.
We were now trying to avoid crashing down on this giant rock in the middle of the road while we drove over it.
Takes some time. It's tedious, but it's manageable.
Do you want to see how she goes? Let's do.
Come on, Granny. There we go.
Our biggest problem here was the granny's lack of clearance. We didn't want to come down on any rocks and break things that we didn't know how to fix. With a 4x4 this would have been easy, but as much as we tried to convince her otherwise, Granny was not a 4x4. We needed to turn her into a contortionist instead, with the odd scraping noise thrown in for some added anxiety.
Granny's a 4x4. Nice! That's how you do it. These are the evil bastards we pick off the road and chuck off to the side and make way for her.
We'd taken this track more than an hour earlier after seeing a road sign suggesting there might be elephants here, but instead of finding large grey mammals, we'd found sharp, small grey rocks instead. But with each new pile we clambered over, we felt more committed to the misguided route ahead.
Went from Rocky Horror to fucking Sandy Beach. It's like Mauritania all over. Oh, when the sand comes out of the footwell, what's that about? Dust comes from the inside of the car, not from the window. We think we hit the fork that we've been looking for.
But as the drive stretched on, it started to dawn on us that we were pretty underprepared for whatever might go wrong. And go wrong it eventually would.
What did we just realise, Claire?
Is this one of those situations where we get rescued after 14 days of dehydration, where they say, these are 2 fucking idiot girls in a 2-wheel drive who decided to go to a park that is never visited by tourists, with not enough water, no food, no travel insurance, and no
Wait, food, we got that. There's 2 oranges. They're very green, but...
and no fucking compass.
No compass.
Or a GPS,
no
or a
insurance,
map, even.
Nothing.
We don't
this
actually
is our map.
have a map. Fuck.
Oh, shit.
This is all gravelly and
No one
sandy.
travels here. That's
Tunnel vision.
a bit of a worry, actually. Because we haven't seen anyone for a long time.
No, I was kind
which
of
means
thinking
when we
of-
break down, if we do, obviously.
You know what? Google Maps told me to do this.
Google Maps.
Google Maps told me to do this. Those are some dirty feet.
You dirty bitch.
That's a dirty book. How'd it get that dirty?
Well, there's also a very dirty dashboard, and everything's pretty dirty. But we're back on tarmac. No potholes, no rocks, no fucking crevasses.
How's that gear stick going?
It got a proper whack from underneath, and the gear stick's now wobbly, and it goes like this, and there's a new sound in our sound system. It goes constantly.
The
you
map.
can actually touch this. You can feel it go.
Okay, let's give you an idea. We started out at this place, Bani. We drove up to Kerembu and said, is this the way to Kwaba? And some dude who spoke no French really was like, yes. So we went driving with the car up to this bend.
Where there's deviation.
Yeah, there was a sign saying deviation, so no direct thoroughfare to Kondio. So we drove down all the way to Kwaba. It took us about an hour and a half just to do, maybe it was about 50 kilometers. And then in Kwaba, we met the man who, in all the those fairy tales where you get to a point with 2 doors and you have to figure out which one to go through. The one man who said yes to everything and the one man who said no to everything.
Is it possible? Pas de problème. Problème. So the dude at the front goes, problème, oh, pas possible, pas possible. And the dude at the back goes, pas de problème, pas de problème. The same question.
We tried to figure out where we were. We think we were here.
Okay.
And I said, is this the road to Natitingou? And he said, yes. I said, is it the road to Hotel Pendjari? He said, yes. I said, is it the road back to Karamu? And he said, yes. So at that point,
And
we
said,
decided.
is it possible to turn to go to stupid goats? Is it possible to go to the hotel of park, like the actual fancy nice hotel in the middle? And pas de problème. And obviously the dude at the front goes, no, pas possible, pas possible. So,
And we said, is the road good? And he said, yes. And we said,
is
not
it
many
bumpy?
buses.
Boom, boom,
Yes,
boom.
yes.
yeah, boom, 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 boom. So we turned around,
So,
realising the insurance part, not so much. The water part, not so much. But the fact that we don't have a compass and we could be heading down the complete wrong track to absolute nowhere. And the idea of pitching our tent in elephant area, not a good idea. And also, because we had no food. And now we want cold beers.
we're going to
And
go
shower.
to a town called Kandi with a K. So it's either a cheap Las Vegan prostitute we'll find,
Yeah.
or a shitty little town in northern Benin with hopefully at least one cold beer.
Or Christina Aguilera, because she's looking for a candy man.
Speaking of Christina, you know how they say it isn't over till the fat lady sings?
What's that face, Claire?
Need
What?
to wait for the dust to clear so I can see all the sand.
Well, we drove over 3 hills.
We drove over the massive
There was a
pelican that
roadblock.
was supposed to be a roadblock. Okay, hang on.
Alright, here we go.
Shit, there's no fucking way of telling what's coming up except for other headlines.
Here she goes.
It is soft sand. Look at reps. Fuck. Bang, bang. See, the thing is, we can't just get out of the car and dig ourselves out and eat it. There's too many cars. There's all these cars, that's gonna be sold up.
Do you call this a road? It's a bloody sand pit.
Put your hand
Oh shit, here's a. Oh no.
Told you so.
Uh oh. Oh, I think we've lost the clutch. Ready? That's our gear stick. It's leading of the parking brake. It's gone.
Oh my god, look at it.
It's gone. It's disappeared. It's
good.
Ah! It's sinking! It's falling!
Shit. Wait, oh look. Oh my god. We're gonna have to pull.
Instead of run around like one bird down.
Fuck, screw, dude. We don't have any food. Well, there's some else there.
Can't live that way without my shit.
That's a gear stick. It's just going. It's sinking. And these are the roads we're faced with. Look, there's tarmac out there. But it's,
I don't know if we're allowed on it.
I don't know, because
Oh, Granny's gonna take it anyway.
we're taking tarmac.
Oh my god.
That's a bit suspicious, though. Oh, but there's a moped coming in. Doesn't really say anything, but...
Oh my god, look at that.
Pull it up. Oh,
I don't know
fuck.
if I can change gears.
Right, so we have to lift the gear stick up to actually be able to change
It's not actually
gears.
going in fourth though.
And this is a
Why?
road.
No, why? Why me? Why me? You move! I don't want to move!
We were being forcibly stopped by the Israeli road workers whose fresh tarmac we were tearing up. But they took pity on the granny and let us limp her to a roadside workshop where we temporarily fixed the gear stick with wire, and their pet monkey did quality control in between attacking us for taking his sugar cubes.
One indication of how amazing the roads are in Benin.
But there was still the problem of the clutch to sort out.
So, what's the problem with having a road that looks like this? I'll tell you what, Granny shits out the gearbox, which gets tentatively put back together with a bit of wire. But the problems with the gearbox cause problems with the clutch, and therefore we find Granny sitting by the side of the road in a shit town in Benin, where they had to get us drunk on too many cheap beers to give us the news that she was basically dead and will never drive anywhere further than the shop again. But we did get to ride in an air-conditioned Hilux, which we were told is the superior vehicle for African travel. After we'd already driven like 20,000 kilometers to get here. Look at that, all that petrol. None of it will ever go into the granny. She doesn't need petrol, she needs an organ transplant. Anna. Want to tell her?
We got told today it's the 11th of March 2011 at 02. That's 14 o'clock 20. That
14 o'clock 20. That doesn't mean
Stephanie. She's dead. I've been wiped off in my face because I was filthy in my face apparently.
in your face.
In my face. Thanks.
Why can't Anna speak English properly right now?
But I got wiped off.
What did you replace lunch with?
By
Lunch got replaced by what?
A wet t-shirt.
Lunch got replaced by a wet t-shirt?
No. Got replaced by beer.
And more than one beer, wasn't it?
Yes.
Because old mate said, do you want Coke or do you want beer? And
What do
we
you
said
want?
Coke. And he goes, no,
Or beer,
really.
or beer.
Or beer.
Or beer.
Or beer.
Beer.
And then when we had the beer, he said, news.
Your
Ford
Ford is finished. And he said he's going to talk to someone and see if we can get a clutch, a new clutch.
That'll be our new Russian-Israeli enabler and his Beninois co-worker who'd been helping us with the granny.
Latest update, everything's okay. We have yam.
Anna had finally found some food to dilute all that beer with.
We have yam. Ah, c'est bon! They love it.
They do love it.
Alright. Show me that
It's
yam.
fucking finished, dude. We're eating it though.
Look, we may have no clutch plate, but we have power steering. That's been fixed. The important things are taken care of.
We've had beer. We're having jam. Yam. I say
Beer
it
and
like,
jam?
I say it like it's
Like it's some kind of
confiture.
condiment. Confiture. How is the yam?
Very dry. I got this is tarmac on my foot. Tarmac on my top as well on the back. Tarmac in oil in my hair, I think. Tarmac in my hair.
And on your back. But you got some yam.
I got some yam.
As long as you got yam, you're grand. It's Africa. What more could you want? You wouldn't want a car, would you?
No.
No, you
Especially
wouldn't
not
want some air
Ford.
conditioning, would you?
Not Ford, no.
No, you wouldn't want a gearbox.
No.
Or maybe clutch plate.
No.
No.
It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary because what you got? Yam. Nice. Yam.
As we sat by the side of the road getting increasingly bleak updates about the health of Granny, we insisted we just needed her going again, since the idea of proper roadworthiness had been abandoned long, long ago. Sergei, the Russian-Israeli, could see our clear denial despite the even clearer language barrier between us. He promised to try and help if he could, while we switched from the denial and bargaining stage of grieving to a sort of acceptance disguised as envy.
I've just discovered all our problems could have been solved if only we'd come to Africa in, check it, an all-terrain vehicle.
Tout-terrain.
Like this
Tout-terrain.
tout-terrain Porsche. It's far superior to Granny. It would never have popped the clutch plate.
Never.
It would never have killed the brakes.
Wouldn't.
Nor punctured the tyres at least
Never.
7 times.
Never.
I mean, look at that. They're even carrying a spare in the back. This is exactly the kind of African vehicle we need. Anna,
Yeah.
we fucked
Our
up.
tyre's been 45 though.
Oh, it's been
By
fortified.
African repairs. It's true.
You're eating a yam. The African version is complete. End of story.
Oh my goodness.
There is a railway sleeper here. I think we are safely several thousands of kilometres away from the nearest railway. No train.
No trains at all.
So why do they have a piece of train track here? Maybe that's why they don't have...
on it. They whack things on it.
Oh, wait. Give us some yam. Take a bite. Take a bite.
My mouth is full.
Take a bite. And on that note...
Yes, on that note, almost 6 hours after we'd broken down in the first place, it was time to take a break from roadside workshops.
Who's that? But Granny, up ahead. And why is that? We went for a boozy lunch, drank too much beer, and then the Russian was like, I'm used to driving as an alcoholic, I shall drive, Granny. And here we are, watching her last adventure as a car. Was is this?
The advantage to travelling with the road workers was that we now got all the roadblocks removed for us so we could travel on the smoother tar instead of on the dirt tracks through the bush. Well, for the most part anyway. After our unsuccessful adventure into Pendjari National Park, we had broken down somewhere on the road south of Kandi. We were now on our way to Ndali, where the Israeli engineering company housed workers rebuilding the roads in northern Benin. Sergey told us they had a few spare rooms there, and we could stay in the complex while he tried to see if he could help us get Granny back on the road. Driving behind her though, it was clear we'd been abusing her trust in us a little. And I'm not just talking about the missing wheel studs the monkey had pointed out earlier.
Check it out, the brake line. Can you see it hanging down? It was held to the spare tyre with a zip tie, but then they wanted to take the spare tyre off and replace it with a real tyre. I mean, that's just not kosher. And look, there's some brand new cars coming from Cotonou to get sold in Niger across these amazing roads.
But we were now on the home stretch for the day, as it was time to check into our new room for the evening.
We got an amazing room.
What's that? What's the shower doing in our... Wait. Room? Did you say room?
We were lapping up the delights of hot water and air conditioning, unaware that once the site manager in the capital found out we were there 2 days later, the engineers would be told to get rid of us or else. But we had 2 days of creature comforts ahead of us before we'd be relocated to the back room of a dodgy roadside bar.
It's a bed. It's a bed that's clean.
Also,
And our very own trucking calendar. That's pretty much... it's amazing. Look. Oh. And we just had an amazing dinner.
yeah, there was an amazing.
After
it
some
was
amazing
Mentos
beer.
soup And yeah, everything. Has Mentos puddings.
And apparently we're getting Granny fixed.
Some of the Israelis had offered to take us looking for elephants in Park W the next day, so we'd take one more foray into the bush, leaving Granny behind to get some rest.
What's that, Habibi? We got new cars?
I'm burning feet. I broke my shoes.
Ow.
So far, we'd only found 2 warthogs.
We haven't seen an elephant yet.
No, but we're going to walk along the river. Hopefully we'll see one.
I think we're discovering that if we're taking Granny into the park, it would have been much less of a challenge than if we took Granny next to the road.
Yes.
That wasn't a road.
Once our game drive was done, we'd find ourselves freshly evicted and Granny just as broken. We'd now have to learn clutchless shifting and limp the Granny to Natitingou for repairs.
Now we're going to go search for elephant with a bunch of Israelis.
Apparently, elephants only exist at 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening.
This is... probably. We have no clutch.
I had to push the gear stick to first and pop it in with force to crawl forward.
Jump. Whoa, this is first gear though.
But once going, we couldn't stop.
Looks alright. Maybe I should get in the car.
I needed the revs to sync with the next gear while I pushed at the gear stick until it went in. Well, it was the only way to get on board.
Right, I made it into the car. There's a running entry.
Fuck this.
That's nice and high. Oh.
Gears are fucked.
We're leaving Ndali after 3 days.
We had 200 kilometres until our next chance for a mechanic.
Just wrote a letter to Sergey to say thank you. It's all good, dudes. All good. That's where we've been staying. Had a party last night.
And as we cruised out of town, we had 4 hours driving ahead of us before we'd find out whether Lena had made it to Natitingou or if she might have already left without us. And we'll see you back on the road next episode.
Hi, present day Clare here.
New episodes will be uploaded every Sunday, so hit subscribe if you'd like to be notified when it's time to watch. Thanks and see you next time.